Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the big business world for you. And in this report, well, it looks like Lam Research might be showing us a really interesting peek under the hood of the constantly evolving semiconductor industry. Let's just say things are getting busy today. We are diving deep into LRCX. Its latest quarterly report, the 10Q filing for the period ending the 28th of September 2025. This is where companies lay out exactly how they are doing financially, what risks they are facing, and what their game plan is for the future. And for Lam Research, it seems they are navigating a complex but opportunity-filled landscape. Alright, first things first, this report is all about Lam Research Corporation, a big player in supplying equipment to make microchips the brains of all our electronic devices. So what is happening in their world this quarter? Let us jump straight into the numbers. Looking at the condensed consolidated statements of operations, we see that for the 3 months ending the 28th of September 2025, Lam Research brought in a hefty $324 billion. This is a noticeable jump from the $168 billion they reported for the same period last year. That is a really solid increase, folks, especially in the demanding semiconductor CTA world. And what does that mean for the bottom line? Well, their diluted net income per S-hair. A key metric for profitability came in at $1.24 for this latest quarter compare. That to $0.86 in the same quarter last year. That is a significant improvement, showing they are getting more efficient and profitable with every dollar they earn. Now onto the balance sheet, where we see what the company owns and owes. As of the 28th of September 2025, Lam Research had over $6.6 billion in cash and cash equivalents. This is a very strong position, giving them plenty of flexibility to invest in new technologies, pay down debt, or even return money to shareholders. Their inventory stood at just over $4 billion at the end of September. This is a bit lower than the previous quarter, which could suggest they are selling through their products effectively, or perhaps managing their production more tightly. When it comes to debt, Lam Research has about $3.7 billion in long-term debt. This is not insignificant, but given their substantial cash reserves and consistent revenue generation, it does not seem like a major immediate concern. The key will be how they manage these obligations, and if interest rates remain able for them. Let us talk about where the money is coming from in the systems revenue category, which includes sales of new equipment. Lam Research saw a big jump to $3.5 billion for the September 2025 quarter, compared to just $2.3 billion in the same quarter last year. This strongly suggests that chip manufacturers are investing heavily in new tools right now, which is a bullish sign for Lam Research and the industry. Their customer support revenue remained quite stable, sitting around $1.77 billion. This consistent revenue stream is valuable as it provides a steady income, and shows that companies rely on Lam Research not just for the initial purchase, but for ongoing service and support. Geographically speaking, China continues to be a huge market for Lam Research, bringing in $2.28 billion in revenue for the quarter. That is a massive chunk of their total sales, and highlights their dependence on this region, despite global trade complexities. Looking at their primary markets, Foundry, which is about making specialized chips, accounted for 60% of their revenue in the September 2025 quarter. This is up significantly from 41% last year, indicating a strong demand for equipment used in this area of chip manufacturing. It is also interesting to see their equity-based compensation expense was around $97 million for the quarter. This is how much they account for in stock options and other stock awards given to employees. This is a significant expense, but also a way companies attract and retain talent in a competitive industry. Their other income net section shows a healthy $63.9 million in interest income for the quarter. This comes from their large cash holdings and is a nice little bonus on top of their main business operations. Now, taxes are always a discussion point. Lam Research reported an income tax expense of $290.5 million for the quarter, and their effective tax rate was 15.6%. This is a bit higher than last year's 13.7%, and they attribute this to profits in lower tax jurisdictions and changes in international tax rules, which are always evolving. In terms of shares outstanding, the basic average shares outstanding was around 1.26 billion for the quarter. This is a crucial number for calculating earnings. Per S-hair, diluted shares were slightly higher at 1.27 billion, so their stock options and other potential shares are being factored in. Let us look at their cash more closely. Their cash and equivalents are heavily invested in money market funds, accounting for about $2.57 billion of their total cash. This is generally considered a safe and liquid investment. Digging deeper into inventories, raw materials make up the largest portion at just over $2.5 billion, followed by finished goods at nearly $1.2 billion. This shows they are actively engaged in production and have goods ready to ship. Looking at their liabilities, current liabilities show accrued compensation at $726 million. This is money owed to employees for work done and highlights the significant workforce Lam Research manages. They also have $623 million in other long-term liabilities, which can include various obligations not fitting into more specific categories. The company does mention issuing guarantees and standby letters of credit to customers and lessors, and their maximum potential future obligation under these is about $230 million, but they believe it is not probable that any material amounts will be paid, which is good to hear. Their warranty reserves shifted slightly with $257 million at the end of the period. This is the amount set aside to cover expected product warranties. On the legal front, Lam Research states they are not currently a party to any proceedings they believe to be material, which is always a green flag for investors. Now let's talk about the company's impressive stock repurchase program. As of the 29th of June 2025, they had over $7.5 billion available for repurchasing their own stock. This shows a strong commitment to returning value to shareholders. In the September 2025 quarter alone, they repurchased about 9.6 million shares at an average price of $105.67. Per S-Hair, that is a significant amount of capital deployed to buy back stock, which can boost earnings per S-Hair and indicate management's confidence in the company's valuation. It is also worth noting that Timothy M. Archer, their president and CEO, adopted a Rule 10b 5-to-1 trading arrangement. This is a plan to sell up to 50,000 shares and exercise some stock options. This is a fairly common practice for executives to diversify their holdings over time and has a termination date in May 2026. Overall, this report shows a company that is performing very well. Revenue is up, profits are up, and they are actively returning capital to shareholders. The demand for semiconductor equipment, especially for foundry applications, seems very strong right now. However, there are always risks to consider. Lam Research is heavily reliant on the global semiconductor market, which can be very cyclical, and a significant portion of their revenue comes from China, which brings its own set of geopolitical and trade-related risks. They also face intense competition from other players in the industry. This section about their sales to China explicitly highlights the significant impact of export license requirements and regulatory changes. On their business, this is a major risk factor that investors definitely need to watch closely. Despite these challenges, Lam Research appears to be navigating the complexities of the semiconductor industry quite effectively. Their strong cash position, their focus on research and development, and their ability to secure significant customer orders paint a picture of a company that is currently on solid ground. The foundry market's growth is a big positive driver for them. So what is our take on this filing? Lam Research is clearly benefiting from the current boom in chip manufacturing, particularly in the foundry segment. Their ability to generate strong revenue and profit growth while also returning capital to shareholders. Theirs is impressive. Their substantial cash reserves provide a good cushion against market downturns or unexpected challenges such as those related to international trade policies and export controls. The significant revenue from China is both a strength and a vulnerability. The company's proactive approach to stock repurchases and dividend payments signals confidence from leadership. The risks associated with global trade, particularly concerning China and the overall cyclical nature of the semiconductor industry, are real and should not be ignored. Potential disruptions to their supply chain and the constant need for innovation are also key areas to monitor. However, Lam Research's strong financial performance and strategic focus on key growth markets suggest they are well equipped to handle these challenges. The sheer complexity and cost of semiconductor manufacturing equipment means that once a customer commits to a supplier like Lam Research, they often stick with them, providing a degree of revenue stability. In conclusion, Lam Research is showing strong financial health and strategic position in a vital industry. While the risks are present, the company appears to be managing them effectively. Their commitment to innovation and their significant market presence makes them a company worth watching very closely. Alright, that is our deep dive into Lam Research's latest filing. What do you think about these numbers and what they signal for the future of the semiconductor industry? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below if you found this analysis valuable. Please hit that like button, it really helps us out, and of course subscribe for more corporate breakdowns like this, and don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep decoding.